Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to I'm on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron. This is episode 280, and, usually I would have a rhyme to go with that, but very somber edition of the show as, over the weekend, we lost a longtime, dear, close personal friend, Chasmo, and it's going to be a rough one to get through. He wasn't on this planet for long.
Pardon the interruption.
I'm sorry, what? Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
You ready? This is going to be a great show today, isn't it? I am so excited. The laughs are going to keep on coming. What'd you start off with? What'd you rhyme? I was in the bathroom, so.
There's no rhyme.
What?
My buddy Chasmo, he passed away.
No.
This past week. Yeah.
No.
And,
natural causes or?
As he was going to leave in his give me a second.
No, sorry.
As he was going.
Oh, I'm sad about it too.
As he was going to take off in his spaceship, the door crushed his face. His eyeball went flying out of the socket, and it was
right
was
in the retina.
very
huh?
very graphic, and
They crushed his larynx.
there was a lot of internal damage that was done based on the unfortunate situation, and I posted about it on social media Sunday after the Super Bowl, and someone reached out and they said you should eat some pizza rolls to celebrate his memory.
Oh,
and I had to respond to him and said, you know what, I don't even have an appetite.
I don't even have pizza rolls.
Well, Tostino's pizza rolls are like 10 for $1. It's a pretty good deal.
What?
Yeah, not too shabby. And I know there are other people out there, who got to know a little bit of Chasmo over the last few months, and we feel your pain too. So if you need to talk to someone about the situation, please don't hesitate to reach out. And what's in a name? Names didn't matter to Chasmo from where he comes from, but you know what? His name, his legacy will always matter to us. So, what did you want to say? Did you want a little bit of a eulogy for Chasmo?
Yeah, if I could.
Sure. Please, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If something arises in your life, it hits you in the feels, and you have to cry, let it out. It's good for your mental health. It's good for you. It doesn't make you any less of a man.
Mm.
Yeah!
That's powerful. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah!
I like it. Do you think you might say that at his service?
Chasmo's service?
Yeah.
Are you telling me I've been chosen to be the Googleizer?
As long as you're willing to say something like that you definitely came up yourself and didn't steal from anybody this past week.
Oh, I'm going to make up a great Googly.
Okay. Well, anyways, shout out to anybody who sent me condolences for the alien that died in the pizza commercial this weekend. I apologize.
Pizza rolls commercial?
Yeah.
Those Totinos, man, they've been around a while.
Yeah. Well, but what a good marketing choice. You know what? If they came out with a shirt that was like a tribute shirt to Chasmo, I would buy it and wear it.
You know what? If we need a design, like of Chasmo, because he unfortunately is no longer with us.
Yeah, very
I'd
sad.
imagine he's in heaven
He could be.
and quite possibly on a cloud.
Yeah, and I would imagine, in a spaceship that didn't crush his face and larynx, and maybe he would like to try fishing for the first time, on his new home, which is that of heaven. And I think Juan Ortiz, our good buddy, who's still alive,
Yes.
has not got squished by a spaceship.
Despite him being of the dead.
Juan and of the Dead Designs could bring this piece of art to life in a T-shirt, perhaps a luxurious painting that we could put on the wall.
I'm getting a flag.
That. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm going to get a flag of Chasmo.
Oh.
And,
Okay, wow.
I'll wave it out there.
Wave that loud and proud, my friend. And you can get any type of artwork done by Juan Ortiz, especially like a logo if you have a small business or a big business. Juan can do it all. He's got 20 years of experience, and he's made some very prominent artwork for the most prolific professional wrestlers that you know. Anybody you've really seen on TV, Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs has made artwork for them. Penta,
I've heard of him.
Cody Rhodes,
I know him.
Seth Rollins,
I know all these people.
The Undertaker.
Don't know him that well.
Never heard
I
of
met
The
him
Undertaker.
at a Super K.
Oh, you did back in '96?
Yeah.
Very well. Okay.
But he didn't have his hair dyed.
Oh.
He was wearing motorcycle gear, so
Okay.
it's kind of whack. And Paul Bearer didn't have his hair dyed.
That's weird.
Yeah, and so it was like orangish.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think he was wearing like a flannel. And I was very disappointed.
I hate everything you're saying, but I love Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs. In fact, they created our new T-shirt that's going to be sending out to Patreon members very, very soon. And listen, if you need artwork done by a super affordable artist, Juan is your guy. Yes, he's done some incredible artwork for some big names with a lot of money, but even if you don't have a lot of money, Juan wants to work with you and create things for you and your liking and your friends and family and loved ones. So what are you waiting for? If you haven't already, check out Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs on social media. You can find them on Instagram at Of the Dead Designs, Facebook.com/Of the Dead Designs, or go to the website ofthedead.weebly.com. Make sure you mention Iron on Wrestling because you'll save $20 on your first design. That means you can get, with that extra $20, 4 mustache sniffings from an alpaca. Maybe an alpaca on a couch in a bikini. I don't know. A podcasting
second.
couch.
20.
Alpaca. $20. $20.
He
off.
upped it?
It's always been $20.
He's been going 10, I thought.
$20. I think that was just for you because you're a little weirdo. But reach out to Juan.
Don't weird shame me.
Tell him Iron on Wrestling sent you because Of the Dead Designs, bringing artwork to life.
Did you say Weebly?
I did say.
Oh,
Weebly,
okay. I
yes.
missed that part.
Yes. Now that we got the paid sponsorship out of the way, we got to talk about what we're going to be talking about on the show today. We're going to be all over the place. We're going to be answering some of your questions from social media, but Patreon gets first priority. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling, where you get a buttload of bonus content. You get the audio episodes first and foremost, sometimes extended bonus episodes. You also get videos, bonus videos, behind the scenes videos, all that good stuff. $3 gets you in the door, $5 gets you the video. You can go up and up and up in the tiers, all the way up to the $25 tier. We can get something in the mail every quarter from us. So check it out. Patreon.com.
Last week I jerked off on video for them.
That's not true. So don't let that deter you from signing up for the Patreon, please. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling.
A new lotion and everything.
No. Best way to support the show. Aaron has very little involvement, and he does that on his OnlyFans.
Hey, it's a good size. Not very little.
Okay, you said it was a chode.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, look it up.
All right.
Don't right now. Your phone's gonna shut down. You'll definitely get a virus. But best way to support
Not the
shows
first
Patreon. But hey, if you're listening for free on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts, we appreciate that too. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment. Leave a 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to the show on. It creates visibility for the podcast. And tell your friends that we are a thing that exists. It's Iron on Wrestling, and it's a good time. So. With all that being said, on top of your questions, we're going to do a bonus for Patreon. We're going to talk about emotional promos within wrestling history. We're going to talk about the Jey Uso promo from last Monday night, which got mixed reviews from people for some reason. We're going to talk about Charlotte Flair. But on this show today, we're going to talk about things like AEW Grand Slam coming up in Australia. We're going to talk about my recent trip to Wisconsin, the recent WWE releases, the Super Bowl, a gentleman by the name of Dylan Bostic, who perhaps maybe you don't know his name, but you're going to know in a second. And I think we're going to start the show off hot, brother, with some old school Iron on Wrestling. Did you listen to the Pat McAfee Show last week?
I did. Various parts of it.
You would think it would have been more Super Bowl centric, but no. No, it was not. In fact, last week he dedicated 1 hour to the immortal Hulk Hogan. And listen, you know how we do, you know how Hulk does, okay? We could probably dissect the whole goddamn episode. But we're just going to stick to one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Hulk Hogan Lie of the Week.
Bro, you're a fucking jabron, man. Who the fuck are you?
Hulk, fuck, bro. Yo, why the fuck do you have to put me on the spot like this? I will tell you, I'm fucking Gregory, man. The Gregster, you fucking son of a bitch.
Yes. Hulk Hogan alone. Just one spray and you bring you home. Just one spray and you're gone. Hulk Hogan alone. Woo! You like the smell of Hulk Hogan. You like the smell of Hulk Hogan. You like the smell of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan alone.
It's another Hulk Hogan Lie of the Week, and as I said, we could probably dissect a lot of little lies from this episode and make it one big giant lie, but I want to focus on one particular part when addressing the recent controversy, Netflix debut of Raw. Hulk Hogan comes out, gets booed. We all know the story. We covered it a little bit extra over on the YouTube channel as we did from the pages of a pro wrestling magazine. I talked about Hulk Hogan from 93 and how it's not much different from Hulk Hogan in 2025, so check that out on YouTube if you haven't already. But Pat McAfee pulled no punches with Hulk Hogan. He's probably been the most, I wouldn't say aggressive, but he's been the most straightforward when it comes to trying to get to the bottom of some of the stuff that Hulk Hogan says. And he, of course, was curious whether Hulk Hogan knew or felt as though he might get booed in Los Angeles. And this is what occurred. Here's the audio.
You can really learn about each other. You can kind of take the walls down, the guard down, and then really start chit-chatting. I love that was kind of the initiative behind getting behind a beer, is bring the world together. Then, as a friend of Trump, you go speak for Trump, then you piss off about half of the country. Yeah. Are you still in the middle of feeling that? Like at the Intuit Dome? I don't think any of us expected.
No. Oh, I did.
You expected that because of the political stuff, or because of everything else?
But you got to realize, last time I ran hard in L.A., I was a bad guy. I was Hollywood Hogan, man. I was riding dirty with the boys, Nash and Hall, and we were spray painting people and crotch shotting everybody and started out with the too sweet stuff. So last time I was there, I was a heel. But I think the politics had a whole lot to do with it, like you said.
I would say, I would assume you get into the politics, and also some other stuff,
Yeah, of course. But at the end...
Yeah. I mean, when you're in a public eye for 40 years.
Yeah, you do slip and fall a couple times.
Yeah, and they're going to see it. Everybody's
going to see it. Anyway, at the end of the day, we kind of looked at it the next day because, I had like 11 billion impressions, and some of the other guys, some of the big stars that were on that car that night only had like 3 billion. I don't name names, but, we were
so you were like,
I was like, ooh, hate me some more. Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Hulk Hogan saying that he knew he was going to get booed, mostly because last time he was in Los Angeles, he was running hard, riding dirty with the boys in
boys.
the NWO. How do you feel about that? True or false?
I mean, I don't know anything, but but I would have to say it's false, right? I mean, the track record of Hulk speaks for itself. Plus, there's no way that he was riding dirty with the boys was the last impression that LA had of him. He was in the WWF again, or WWE.
So let's first focus on the WCW part of this. So when I initially hear this, I think to myself, gee, I don't remember WCW running in Los Angeles or even California all that often. So a quick check to ChatGPT, which, listen, it's not 100% accurate all the time. So if anybody has any further information, please lay it on me on social media or contact me through the Iron On Wrestling accounts. In the 90s, the only WCW events that I could find that ran in LA or near LA. November 6, 1994, the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view for AAA, which WCW was sort of a part of. June 1st, 1996, WCW participated in the World Wrestling Peace Festival at the Los Angeles Sports Arena, an interpromotional event organized by Japanese wrestler Antonio Inoki. July 10th, 1998, WCW's LA Melee took place at the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California, drawing an audience of 15,678 fans. And other than that, closest to Los Angeles would have been July 16th, 1995, Bash at the Beach in Huntington Beach, California, where Hulk Hogan defended the WCW World Heavyweight Championship against Big Van Vader in a steel cage. Now, at that point in time, Hulk Hogan was red and yellow. Was he getting booed a little bit? Probably not that I remember from that crowd, because it was like a free thing, and they were doing it actually on the beach at that one. Surprisingly, Hogan did actually wrestle at the July 10th, 1998 LA Melee House Show event. It was Hulk Hogan facing Ric Flair inside of a steel cage. At that time...
Was that in Inglewood?
Inglewood,
I
California.
think that's the same venue. I think it's just called the Intuit now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that would have been 1998. And he would have been NWO.
Okay.
But it's a house show, so I don't know how much spray painting or anything he did, but he might have done some crotch chops, okay? But...
Was he riding dirty with the boys at that one?
I mean, at that point, he would have been probably only with Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Because now we have a Wolfpack faction.
Right. Nash had a heart attack, and Scott Hall was in rehab. So I think he was by himself.
Scott was there at that point because this is right around the time where I'm assuming, I don't have the exact dates, but he's about to drop the championship to Goldberg. Or he already dropped it to Goldberg. So if he's about to drop it to Goldberg, which I think is right after this, Scott Hall would have been with the company because earlier in the show, which I think people forget about, Goldberg had to wrestle Scott Hall, and then later in the night it's Hogan and Hogan and Goldberg.
Yeah, I think Richards and James just had this conversation.
I don't know how many appearances that he's made in LA for WWE since his return, but I could tell you right off the top of my head, the last time that I can think of that he was in the company, he got a huge pop in LA when he showed up to help Eugene fend off Muhammad Hassan during the WrestleMania 21 WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood, which was 2005. So he was not riding dirty with the boys at that point in time, from my recollection. And dude,
I wanna write a book now.
Yeah, about all Hulk Hogan's.
No. I want to write a book, and I just want it titled "Riding Dirty with the Boys."
Okay.
Either that or that's my album.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad album title. Yeah. Now, Hulk claimed that he made it sound like any publicity is good publicity. Because following his appearance and booing from the Raw Netflix debut, he claims that there was 11 billion impressions talking about him on social media. Aaron, if you had to guess how many people are in the whole world, how many people would you guess are in the entire world?
5 billion?
Okay.
25 billion?
As of 2023, the world population is 8.25 billion people, which means at least one person, every person tweeted once about Hulk Hogan's booing, and some tweeted a few times about it, apparently, to get 11 billion impressions. But then also, there was 3 billion impressions for other superstars. Now, I don't know if you recall how many people actually watched Raw Netflix debut, but it was roughly 5 million people that watched.
Right.
So somewhere, the math ain't mathin', as the kids say.
Yeah. Hogan's had some trouble with math.
Yeah, he's had some trouble with a lot of things. Yeah. You know, like Pat McAfee straight called him out, like, and some other stuff too.
Yeah.
And Hogan starts to talk, and then he realizes, like, oh, he might be referring to like my dong or the N-word stuff. Yeah, yeah. Which at one point he literally makes a reference about his penis in the interview. By the way, so if you haven't watched this interview with Pat McAfee and you are curious about Hulk Hogan lies, this is definitely something you want to check out.
I'd never forget that when that happened. You called me and you were like, dude, you got to watch. It's Hulk Hogan. We could see his real penis on TV right now on the internet.
That didn't happen. No, that was not a thing.
You were
that
like,
did.
Here, check it out. You sent me a link. I didn't go to it.
I think the first reports, though, I remember seeing was that people compared the size of his penis to that of a thermos, like a round. It sounds like some sort of joke that would be made in an American Pie movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the initial reports about Hulk Hogan's.
Well, that's
schlong.
the inspiration for the helmet that he wore.
Was it?
Yeah. What was that, 89 maybe, 90?
Interesting, very interesting.
When he had it, it was a fist like that, but that also looked like his dong.
Do you?
From what I understand.
Random. It's unfortunate because like people are getting pissed because all these new elite action figures are coming out from WWE, and there's so many Hogans coming out, and they're all becoming peg warmers. Like no one's really buying them probably because of the way he's acting. But it just sucks because they're coming out with like the very distinct Hulk Hogans, and I'm like, I want to buy that, but I also don't want to support Hulk Hogan. Like, do you remember that time, like around the time in WCW when he was running for president, and he uncharacteristically wore like a winter New York Yankees hat and sunglasses?
Yeah.
They're coming out with that figure, but of course they changed the New York Yankee symbol to just say NWO.
Yeah,
and I'm like, God, that's fucking good, but like, I can't buy it. It sucks, man.
Man, because to me at that point, I thought it was a stretch that Hall and Nash were getting away with like Tupac references and
they're wearing
their
FUBU.
style. Yeah. I was like,
crazy.
it's a little much for these guys that are, right at around 40s.
Yeah.
And I was able to forgive it, or not forgive it, but I was able to just get over myself thinking that. And then Hogan comes out and he starts wearing the same shit, and the way he was talking, I don't know.
Well, so real quick though, that just reminded me. Obviously we just wanted to focus on that one lie, but just briefly, one of the things he said in passing too was that they asked Pat McAfee asked him if he had respect for the younger guys and what they're doing, blah blah blah. And he's like, they don't seem to like me, but I have a lot of respect for them. And he said, back in my day, they had time to get me out in the 80s when I was over, but they had 10 years and nobody could, so I was still over and doing stuff in the 90s. And then they had 10 more years to get me out, and, I don't want to toot my own horn, but, I was still running hot in the 2000s, which isn't necessarily a lie. We had that Hulkamania resurgence in 2002, but he claimed that when he came into WCW, all the younger guys didn't want anybody over 40 working there. He specifically referenced immediately Hall and Nash, who he now is friends with. And I'm thinking to myself, Hall and Nash were about to turn 40. I mean, they were basically 40. So why would they be so gung-ho about getting 40-year-olds out? Because that means they had, like, tops 3 years left before they also had to hit the road.
For what I understand, I mean, those guys, they sold like crazy for guys like Flair and Piper.
Yeah.
When those guys put them out, laid them out in the ring, the NWO stayed out forever.
Yeah.
I never saw a problem with those guys selling or not wanting to be in the ring with the older guys. I remember I heard about a shoot fight with Piper and Nash, right?
Yeah, that's apparently a real thing that happened where they were mad after I guess they weren't selling enough for Pac when they did that main event match at one of the, I think it was a Slamboree.
Yeah.
And it was like Pac, Nash and Hall versus Piper, Flair, and
Kevin Green.
Kevin Green.
Yeah.
And so there was an incident to where Piper was fucking getting mouthy, supposedly, and Nash just fucking choked him, like grabbed him by the throat, and it became a whole thing. So and I think Bischoff has said it may or may not have happened, but I don't know if he remembered exactly. But I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, just a big fibber, telling his fibs again. I really want someone to just invite him on to where there's like no escape, and they just go, listen, got a lot of respect for you, Hulk. You've done a lot of great things. So why is it that every time you talk, you have to make up something? Like, for example, I want to talk to you about this right here that you've said once. Why did you say this? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but then his answer would not be the truth anyways.
But I would just at least want someone.
Take him to task.
Yes, I just want someone to just call him out about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey,
Let's get him on the podcast.
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Do you have a Hulk Hogan Lie of the Week you want to hear us talk about on the show? Let us know at Iron on Wrestling on social media, or contact me directly, Gregory Iron, over on the X, over on Instagram, Gregory_Iron, and let me know. We'll talk about some Hulk Hogan lies. Now with the lie out of the way, I don't know how you're feeling. Had a little bit of a tiring but fun weekend. I had to drive out to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, as the natives
As the
there say.
Algonquins said.
Yes. And it's been a long time. I want to say roughly 7 years since I've been to that area. And it was a nice little return with the Roofless Pro Wrestling.
Did you get some beer?
Why would I do that?
Milwaukee's famous for beer.
They are, but why would I specifically do that? I keep doing it on accident. I have this newish straight edge shirt that I wear where like there's two hands on it, and like the one hand's cutting into the other hand, and it's like, whoa, yeah, it's real.
Why?
It's fucking sick. I don't know. It's awesome. So like cutting the X's into the hand, you know? And
Why would you cut them into your hand?
'cause
Don't people just use marker?
true till death, okay?
You know how many guys I've seen get tattoos that say that shit, and then they're smoking weed or drinking beer?
Well,
within a
yeah, I
year?
mean, listen, that's what happens, you know. But not me. I keep accidentally wearing this shirt to bars, and I'm not trying to like make a statement, but I didn't know I was wrestling in a bar, so I show up and it's like a nice little bar for Roofless Pro Wrestling, and I'm like, oh, I got this straight edge shirt on, which is funny. Ironically enough, on the car ride, I was with Atticus Koger, and we stopped at a gym before we went to the show.
That is odd. Aren't you guys feuding?
We're not. We were never feuding. No, we're friends. We're on the same side.
Go ahead.
Follow the product, pal. Okay. On the car ride, I was wearing my vintage Godfather light of fatty for this Pimp Daddy shirt, which probably would have been more over in the bar. But yeah, me and my brother, Grimy Zach Thomas, we defended our tag team championship successfully against a couple freelance kids from the Chicago area. And one tried to do some karate moves on me, but unfortunately, I don't think he realized that I've watched every single episode of Cobra Kai, and I will watch the finale on February 13th.
He may have known karate, but you know crazy.
Well, I know Miyagi-Do. I know, was it Eagle? Fuck.
Eagle Fang?
Eagle Fang. I know.
You can't even remember that? I didn't even watch the show.
Hey, you better catch up, all right?
Okay, I will.
But yeah, it was a nice little trip to Milwaukee. And as much as I liked defending the championships and retaining with my brothers, finish was a double pile driver, brother. Okay? And
wait, like you both did a pile driver?
Simultaneous pile drivers. Boom. He did a package one. I did a regular one. Boom.
Whose is better?
I would have to say mine is more impressive just solely on the fact that I have one functioning arm. I mean, I think that gets the win no matter what.
Oh. I've heard differently.
Anyways, the best part about being out in Milwaukee was for the first time ever, I got to meet and hang out with good friend of the show, longtime Patreon member, Josh Excellence, live and in living color, baby. It was awesome. What a good guy.
Was Josh excellent?
I would say that he was a fairly excellent individual, yeah. Spent a lot of time talking at the gimmick table, and I invited him out to eat with me and the boys after the show.
Oh,
And,
like when you were riding dirty with the boys?
I was riding dirty with the. We didn't spray paint anybody, but he had a good recommendation for a place called Pizza Shuttle in the area. Because I was worried we were going to get out late and we would end up going to like a Denny's or an IHOP or something. But especially somewhere like Wisconsin that I don't get out to that often, I want to go to like a local place, see what that's like. And so luckily, Josh was able to recommend Pizza Shuttle, got like a sweet burger and fries, and it was just a good time, good conversations, great human being, and I don't know, it just was a reminder of how cool the community is that we built on Patreon, and that we're building these bonds and friendships, and it was so good to spend some time with him. And on top of that, another highlight for me was I met a young man, 21-year-old individual, big GCW fan, big deathmatch wrestling fan, came out to the show, came up to me to talk about, him living with cerebral palsy, which his was very similar to mine, right side of the body, dominantly in his right hand and fingers, a little bit in his right leg, and he's going to school to be a teacher, and he just, came up to me to tell me how much I kicked ass, but I made sure to tell him that he's kicking ass too, and that I just appreciate him sharing a story. And I signed a couple Gregory Iron wrestling buddies at the show. So all in all, it was a good experience, but I'm just so thankful that, there's some people with some bigger fan bases, but I'm so glad that we have such a dedicated fan base to the show and what we're doing. And yeah, maybe one day you can meet at Josh Excellence too.
I'd like to go to this pizza shop you went to. I Googled it while you were talking your gibberish.
Good selection of stuff too, because the kids were concerned that we wouldn't get ice cream, but they had like a wide selection of ice cream as well there.
Yeah, this pepperoni pizza looks good. I mean, it's basic pepperoni pizza, but it looks really good. It's like that crisp cup pepperoni.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Baby.
I mean,
You got a burger, huh?
I got a burger.
What'd you get on your burger?
I got
peanut butter.
No, they didn't have that option. But they had
Buster.
like a bacon jalapeno burger thing.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like
that's good.
I don't know how to describe the bread, but the actual buns were like really, really good. And I think helped made the burger. There was a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. Very not too spicy, but spicy enough. I like some spice, so it was very enjoyable. I would go again for sure.
Oh, I see that bun you're talking about. Oh, wow.
Yeah, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's different.
It was tasty. Yeah. Figure out what that bun is.
Yeah,
But
you go ahead. Keep
while
telling me
you're doing
everything.
that, something that you wanted to talk about that you saw this past week that I think is important to talk about, and perhaps maybe this will help us delve into some other experiences based on the story. Got some little publicity on social media between Joey Janela and an individual who approached him at the gimmick table at, I believe it was a GCW show that he did sometime in the last week. If you didn't see it, I'll find the video and repost it for you guys. Joey was trying to sell merch. Guy comes over, flips all of his shit off his table, and you could tell right away, oh, this is real. And Joey was ready to square up, and this dude just fucking throws a shot at Joey, and they start going back and forth for a second. Then they're quickly down on the ground, and a lot of other wrestlers try to interject. What I found unintentionally hilarious, clearly they're on the side of Joey Janela. They don't know who this other individual is. If you watch, I don't know if one stomp or punch from the other people hit the individual that started this. I think they were all stomping Joey by accident.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, okay, well, this didn't really help very much. But from what I understand, this person was then thrown out of the venue. The individual who did this is a gentleman by the name of Dylan Bostic, who I've known casually over the years. He's from the Pittsburgh area, I believe. I mostly know him because I was, I teamed with his ex-girlfriend, Ray Lynn. They were together for a long time. And what's interesting is, and people were kind of clowning him on social media for this, which I didn't understand for the longest time. His bio says pro wrestler, boxer, actor, and rapper.
Oh my gosh, I just remember that video.
What's that?
This dude has a music video, right, where he raps.
There is a music video where we
my god, yes.
we could play the song in a little bit here, but I mean, it's not of all the rap songs I've heard, it is definitely one of them. What I always found interesting when I first met Dylan was He might have had a little less at that point, but currently on Twitter, Dylan Bostic, which many people don't know, in fact, I mean, no one recognized him in the video, despite the fact that he has 338,000 Twitter followers. And I always found that interesting. And I remember one time I asked him, how did you get so many followers? His claim was that there was a point in time where part of his gimmick was that he liked Justin Bieber. I believe that was a story. He tweeted something about Justin Bieber. Bieber replied, and then he got a bunch of followers from Justin Bieber fans.
Okay, so kind of like when I tweeted Amanda Bynes.
Sure, but then did you get like 300,000 followers?
No, I got like 30, like pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then it kind of fizzled.
So, yeah, I just thought it was like a lie. I just assumed that he bought a bunch of Twitter followers. Now, supposedly, Elon Musk has gotten rid of all these bots. I still don't believe that Dylan Bostic has 300,000 plus Twitter followers. If you look at his engagement on social media, like, it's decent. Maybe there's some real people mixed in with that, but it doesn't seem like enough engagement to justify having 300,000 authentic followers. But the point of this story is why this interaction occurred. A lot of people just thought it was a fan attacking Joey Janela. This guy is a worker. He's been a worker for a long time. Apparently what this stems back to, when Joey worked for AEW, Bostic was doing some weirdo shit backstage or just looking unprofessional or whatever, and some of the people that worked with at AEW started clowning him, and then Dylan Bostic got all upset and basically said to Janela on social media, I challenge you to a boxing match, a fight, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Rap battle?
Well, maybe. But so basically this interaction was 5 years in the making. And look, I mean, say what you want about this guy, but I mean, I don't know how far he drove the show, where the show was at, but he showed up to fucking try to fight Joey Janela.
He wasn't booked on the show, right?
He was not booked on the show. Again, people thought this was just a fan like going off on Joey Janela, but it's a twofold thing. Joey Janela talks a lot of shit sometimes, and it came back to almost bite him, and I don't know, Bostic followed through on a threat 5 years in the making. I don't know, like, if he just wanted to follow up on it, or he was trying to make some sort of impact or something and get noticed, but whatever the case is, I don't know, people were talking about it, and it just, I don't know.
Wait, that's what it was? It wasn't about, like, Joey promoted a show and didn't pay him?
No, is that a thing Joey did?
No. I had assumed, like, this guy probably was pissed that he didn't get his pay. I didn't know it was over this other stupid shit.
No, it stems back
Somebody
from,
laughed at somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, again, very mature stuff happening at AEW all the time, but yeah. I mean, listen, I got no problems with Janela. I have no problems with Dylan, personally. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard stuff from Rachel. There's reasons why they're not together anymore. He's never done anything personally to me, but I don't know. It all kind of just looks like a joke. You know what I mean? And listen, if you're gonna be a dick on social media, eventually someone is going to try you. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I had it when I was doing the Iron Curtain thing, where I was trying to be a heel in real life, and it bled over a lot of the times where people were legitimately trying to fight me. But also, I was smart in the sense that I already surrounded myself with goons in the ring, but also legitimate guys that were going to be my friends, to where if I was going to get beat up at a show, we were prepared for that. Like, that was something we would talk about on a regular basis. From your experience as a heel, or just a promoter in general, I know you had the one interaction where you had to beat up someone with Cronus.
Yeah.
At Hybrid back in the day. It was a woman, right? Was it a woman or a
No,
it was not a woman?
No, it was a guy.
It was a guy.
Yeah, it was like 20-something-year-old guy.
Okay. Did you have any
But
other...
I also got into a fight with like a 11-year-old fan, physical.
I remember you saying that too, yeah.
I ain't afraid of no child.
Yeah, well, those kids, man, they...
No, but I hated that. And me think. One time after a show in Lorraine, I think I was managing Hito, and we went to the bar after the show. It was like an after party or whatever. And some fan came in there and was pissed because I think I hit Rod, hey, bro, with a chair.
Okay.
And this guy was pissed, and he wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you just want to play pool? And I wasn't any good as a pool player. So, like, he was so excited about it. You know, like, he beat me. Like, he did something, you know?
Yeah,
I just kept going, man, you're really good. And I'm not that good at this game. But, you know, I guess, you know, you're right. Maybe I should have never hit Rod with that chair.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, because the next day we were in Detroit, and we were on a show with Balls Mahoney. And I remember me and Hito were talking about it, and Balls was like, what happened? And he's like, can you just next time tell the fan, it's fucking fake?
Jesus Christ. Ridiculous. Well, you know, the only, it just popped back in my mind, the only other interaction other than the Iron Curtain thing, because I was just thinking about, like, now, I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm losing my patience more and more with people that are just going to be dickish. And there were some borderline situations at GCW where we almost got into fights and stuff with fans who were talking shit, specifically ones that were using F slurs and fucking calling us gay and shit, like, which is like, you know, it's, geez, we're in the 2020s at this point. Like, why are we yelling these at wrestling shows?
Well, maybe they weren't saying it in a negative way. They were like, oh, you guys are gays.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
We really
maybe
like
that's
you.
It. But there was one incident. And
we're very accepting.
The one GCW show in Detroit that we did some stuff with Sabu. I had a whistle like Fonzie because we knew we were going to the Sabu thing. So I was blowing a whistle being real annoying. And a fucking fan, while the whistle was in my mouth, popped the string on the whistle, and it, like, I was holding it with my teeth, and it came out of my mouth, and I instantly, like, saw red, and I looked, and I seen this guy, and he's, like, laughing, and I fucking pushed him, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, let's fucking go. Like, I was like, oh, boy. Like, I was ready to, like, murder this guy, because not only, I don't think if I would have been so upset if he would have just put his hands on me, like pushed me or something. The fact that, like, I was holding something in my mouth and it was like my teeth, I was like, it kind of hurt, and I was like, fuck this dude. He's lucky I didn't beat the fuck out of him right there, honestly, because, like, you're crossing the line. Like, this is part of the show, but if you want to get beat up for real, I'm not a tough guy, but I've learned from my experience over the years and, like, people taking advantage of me as a wrestler, as a smaller wrestler, I'm not going to take shit. And maybe this fan would have beat my ass, but I was going to go down swinging. Like, that's bullshit. You don't fucking put your hands on the fans or anything that we're holding in our hands or in our mouth. You don't fucking touch it. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. It's my rambling.
Well, I think my favorite interaction, fan, wrestler, is still Vincent Nothing. Because he doesn't play games.
He doesn't play games. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. What was the situation with that guy? What did he do to him? Just push him down hard as fuck? Was it that Cock Lesnar dude?
No. I don't remember who it was, but I remember this guy kept saying, Kid Wicked is nothing. Kid Wicked is nothing.
Yeah.
And Kid Wicked was Vince's previous
his, like,
moniker.
backyard name or something. Yeah.
And he was saying he's nothing because his name was Vince Nothing. And I don't know. I just remember Vince kept telling me, man, this dude's pissing me off. Man, this dude's pissing me off. And it was like, we're getting closer and closer to this guy. And I was like, don't do it, Vince. Don't do it. And I mean, you could see it all happening on the video. Mm-hmm. We have it posted somewhere, I think. Somebody has it somewhere.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden he just fucking, I think we were carrying Thrillbilly back to the locker room, and he just pushes Thrillbilly aside, goes over and shoves the fuck out of this dude. The dude goes to the ground, I think, and Vince is like, I don't play games.
I don't play games.
Yeah. It's the best.
I mean, Vince is legitimately a guy who
plays no games.
He doesn't. He really doesn't play games, and, like, I feel like great guy. has helped me a lot in my life and in my wrestling career. I just would never want to be on his bad side because there's something in him that, I mean, that's why he came back to wrestling in the first place. Like, we talked to him on the podcast, and I don't remember if he said this specifically. Maybe he said this to me personally, but it's like he came back to get hit and to feel something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that comes from when you say shit like that comes from a dark place. Okay? Like, you got something that you want to come out. And, yeah, so he doesn't play games. How did you feel about the game that happened on Sunday, the Super Bowl? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, but because I like sports.
Did you see any spoilers for it? Nothing leaked online, the run sheet or anything like that?
No, I hadn't seen anything, and this would have been, one of the biggest shockers of all time. Because, I mean, no one was expecting. People keep saying that the Chiefs cheat, and the refs are in on it, and blah blah blah. I don't know any of that to be true, but I know people are sick of the Chiefs, and they just got squashed by the Eagles.
Yeah. What was it, like 30-something to 6?
Yeah.
I was in and out of the game because for whatever reason, I know you can watch on Tubi, but I actually have an antenna that my mom didn't break because she's dead and she can't smoke crack with my antennas anymore. It was glitching for some reason on the regular TV. Like, what the fuck kind of...
So, did you go to Tubi?
I did not, because I don't have a Tubi account, so I didn't feel like taking the time to sign up and make a Tubi thing. So I was like, I'll just deal with this. And by halftime, fortunately, which is really all I cared about, it wasn't an issue. What did you think about the halftime show? Because I saw a lot of people, and it seemed like it was mostly an older generation shitting on it. And I immediately thought to myself, like, because I like Kendrick Lamar, but I also
white people hated it.
But I thought to myself, it's like, very rarely does the Super Bowl and the NFL market towards the younger audience by booking a more, modern act, right? Like, every couple years they'll do something, but like it always seems like
I think it's usually pretty modern. Like, I remember Britney Spears doing it, but she also did with Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Sure.
And Nelly.
Yeah.
So there's like they try to get acts that maybe pleases the broader audience.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You know what I found out, though? You don't even get paid for the halftime show.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah. But when you look at it, it's $8 million for a 30-second commercial. So, if you got a concert tour coming up like Kendrick Lamar does, this is the best advertisement ever for it. I thought he was great. I know people said whatever they said, but
some people
I
were
thought
like
he was fine. I thought he was a very good showman, and a lot of times I look at things like that. I don't know if I cared about any of the songs, except for the one that was,
the Drake
is he
diss.
gonna, won't he, will he, whatever. And I thought that he teased it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of subliminal messages that I didn't get until today when I read it online.
Yeah,
but I liked the whole presentation, man. I thought it was fine.
There was a lot of trash talk about the choreography, as if like the people were saying it was very basic.
Oh, well, give me basic then. I like it.
But so this is coming from a performer. Like, I don't dance, but like to have so many people like that in sync, even if it's as basic as head bobbing, walking.
Dude,
like,
I thought them circling each other was amazing.
Yeah, like
and
that's
people may go, oh, they were just walking around each other. No, you have to, and then you have to make sure you're just far enough away from the people that are to your right, to your left.
That's timing. There's even a spot. There was a spot. Yeah. There's a spot where they're inside that X, and they had groups of people in 3 parts of the X, and Kendrick Lamar is in one part, and the camera circles in the middle, and you could tell that Kendrick had to come underneath and pop up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, even that, like, I wish I could see like another camera angle of just like the fucking timing of that, because like he had to be hidden underneath and just boop, like he never crunch down underneath. So I don't know. I thought it was a good show, and geez, I mean, if Drake hadn't been served enough with dude winning all the awards for that diss track, like this is like the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, you have to be done now.
Yeah, I think he's toast.
I mean, I never liked him. I never liked Drake because I hated that show that he was on.
He was on a show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was.
it
Like
was like
when he's like a young kid, right?
it was like the Saved by the Bell of Canada. I forget what it was called now.
Yeah. I remember. I
Degrassi.
There it is.
Okay, so he's the Degrassi kid. And so, like, immediately I was like, I don't like that this Degrassi kid is out here. Now, maybe the typecast was, maybe he was cast to be nice and he's really a thug.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem right after being on Kids Show.
Yeah. I don't know. If you guys feel different about the Super Bowl, let us know in the comments below and or tweet us on social media. Full list of WWE releases. People were kind of shocked this weekend when some WWE releases started happening, and as of right now, some have been confirmed, others we don't know for sure, but here's what we got so far. Sonya Deville, Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, Elektra Lopez, and it's under the belief that many of these releases happen because they're getting ready to call people up from NXT. People are shocked that this started happening all of a sudden, but when you look at the names, it doesn't come off as too much of a shocker, right?
No. Vinci, I thought something big was in store for him.
He pissed someone off.
Because
that's got to be what it is.
But I thought when he got squashed by Cruz in 3 seconds or whatever, I thought that was the start of something big.
Yeah, it was leading to something else.
Yeah.
And then next week it led to something bigger, which was a 90-second squash.
Yeah.
From Apollo
and then
Crews.
it was like, okay, this doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And, so.
And then all he did after that was dark matches where he got squashed by guys who also weren't doing anything, like Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
And so,
honestly, I'm kind of surprised Apollo Crews is still there. They never do nothing with him, but every once in a while, like they had him beat Vinci twice, and then they had him beat Johnny just last week.
Well,
in
that match he tore his pec, right?
No.
Yeah, so he's out.
Apollo Crews?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go. We
Yeah.
can start going.
Yep.
All right.
Nope. Tore his pec.
Okay.
What? So did you hear the rumor about what Vinci supposedly did to get the seat?
No.
Supposedly, it's being said, and I don't know anything beyond what's been said on the internet from people, that he may or may not have tried to hit on or hook up with Tiffany, who, of course, his brother in Imperium is dating. So that may be where the heat stems from.
I can't blame him, though.
But I got to imagine that for a burial like that, something else had to have happened, right? Because he was a very talented guy. I mean, he debuted, I think, around the Cruiserweight Classic years ago.
Yeah.
And when they actually gave him an opportunity to do some shit, man, he did some impressive stuff. So, like, there was something there. But also, when it comes to the presentation in Imperium, we said it a bunch of times on the show. It's like, he's just kind of a bald guy with a beard who doesn't really say or do anything.
Marty.
Yeah, for 100% Marty. And that's unfortunate because there's something there, but is there a character there? That's the problem. Isla Dawn is an interesting release, seeing as I haven't heard anything about her tag team partner.
Alba Fire.
Released. Yes, but maybe that's been a quiet thing that hasn't come to the surface yet, but I thought those girls were real talented. Obviously, they held the tag team championships this past year for a cup of coffee, but no real follow-up after that. It's unfortunate, but I think, those girls internationally and on the indies, I think they're going to do some big things. Sonya Deville, I'd be curious to see what's next for her. We saw her as recently as, the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, dude, I don't like when I hear about Sonya Deville because I think there's a lot there. Like, I thought she killed it as the general manager or whatever she was.
Like co-GM or something.
Yeah. And I thought, man, there's someone that talented, there's got to be a place for them, but
for sure.
Not working out. And at least that means maybe we can rename that Pure
Fusion
Collection.
Yeah, whatever it is. But they also weren't really doing anything with them of note. Like, it's just been a stable that it exists, but like,
yeah, they attack people backstage.
Yeah,
and then in the ring they lose.
Well, speaking of guys that are in a faction and they just kind of lose, Authors of Pain. It was weird when they came back in general, and didn't really do much with them except for like what they did, like 1 or 2 matches with the Wyatt Six, and also Paul, who should be the mouthpiece, really did no talking. We had thought talking in the bonus episodes, like once they attacked him, oh, okay, surely they're getting rid of fucking 70-year-old Paul Ellering at this point.
Yeah, they just gave him a vacation.
Gave him a
6
vacation
weeks.
for a few weeks, and then he came back and still didn't do anything but walk to the ring and look like a mad, bald 70-year-old man. I mean, tons of respect for him, but I mean, I don't know. It just feels like, could have probably utilized him as a mouthpiece a little more. And
He'll be good in AEW.
You think he'll go to AEW?
Yeah. They take all those old guys, make him a manager for somebody for a couple weeks where he walks out with them, and then that's it.
Well,
he'll just walk right to the back.
They could always sign Rachel. I mean, they got Chris Hero working backstage there. I'm surprised Rachel isn't there. They've been together for a long time, yeah.
Still?
As far as I know. I mean, I haven't talked to Chris in a long time. So
neither have I.
Blair Davenport, a lot of potential there. They called her up, and then it's one of those things where this has been the case over the years sometimes. They call guys up to the main roster, and then that's the end for them. You know what I mean? Well, that's the thing.
They don't have nothing for them.
Yeah, they
what did she come in as? She was trying to be the secretary to Nick Aldis or something for a little while, or to Adam Pearce, right?
Yes.
And she had a shopping fashion sense and also a business sense.
Yeah.
That was her character.
Yeah.
So easy to see why she's not there anymore, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's the rumor that they were going to put her with Chelsea. That was recently in talks for the last couple months to make her a part of the Secret Service, which I think could have been fun.
Oh, man, that'll be great. But I thought Pretty Deadly should have still been with them.
I that's still a thing that could happen, because who knows what's happening with this story with DIY. I mean, they're doing a match with them next week, right?
Dude, that's great too. I mean, it's elevated. The tag division is killing it. One more thing about Paul Ellering. Was that the biggest shock to you out of all these releases?
I would say the biggest shock was probably Sonya Deville, because she's been the most used on TV. But
now, did you talk to Blair's father?
Blair, who's her father?
Darren the Dish.
I did
Davenport.
Not. I did not know.
That's her daddy.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah. She calls him Captain.
Tell the audience who Darren the Dish is.
Darren the Dish Davenport is a longtime legendary professional wrestler and manager extraordinaire on the East Coast. And then he migrated to the Midwest when he was about the age of 14.
Gotcha.
So he started when he was 11. He was working on in the shipyards.
Wow.
And Mike Rotundo, senior, like the great-great-grandfather of Mike Rotundo, Michael Paul Rotunda. He came over here on a boat, and Darren Davenport pulled him in because the boat was the winds, So Davenport brings him in, and here we go.
I think the biggest comeback out of this situation is going to be Cedric Alexander. It seems like, honestly, it's probably the best that he got released. I mean, he's been there 8 years, and now I think this opens up an opportunity for him to be they keep teasing that they're going to sign someone else to the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it's not going to be him, though.
I think it only makes sense.
I think that grudge is still there.
I think they will just sign Cedric Alexander and put him in the Hurt Syndicate.
They'll never do that. I talked to a guy on the internet.
You're an actual moron. I think Cedric will be in AEW in 90 days, and all will be right for his career. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Listen, I've never been.
Dude, how did they have Cedric Alexander and Candice LeRae there for all that time and never recreate the spot where she took that backcracker looking thing?
Oh, I don't know if you know this, but they don't do intergender matches.
Bullshit. It doesn't have to be a match. I saw Randy Orton RKO Nia Jax not too many
she's
Rumbles
gigantic.
Ago. So
she's bigger than most of the guys.
So what? And Cedric Alexander's tiny. He's barely bigger than Candice.
I would say
they're both about 85, 89 pounds.
That's not true. Gallows and Anderson, I've never been crazy about them. I know they're funny guys and stuff, but I think they're going to be fine. I just don't think that WWE ever saw anything in them beyond being with AJ Styles. I mean, it's unfortunate. It feels like it would just be a good place to put them, especially when AJ was a heel there for a second recently. But they had success abroad, so I think they'll be going back to Japan or something. And I think these guys, Cedric Alexander, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, I think those are going to be the easiest comeback stories here. The other guys, wish them the best of luck. It sucks to get fired, and it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, wasn't really much being done with them, and now you got to make room for those call-ups because that's going to change their pay. People like Trick Williams are probably going to be getting called up soon. You have Roxanne.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So I mean, they got to make main roster money. That's going to change their contract for sure. And I know WWE isn't hurting for money right now, but also, I mean, you only have so much TV time. So I mean, it is what it is.
Plus, they're going to have to bring you in soon.
That's not true. It's not true. That's not a true thing at all. All right, you want to answer some questions from social media?
Absolutely not.
Well, you have to. It's part of your job. We're going to start with Patreon users first, and then we're going to get to whatever else we can on you folks from the social media. We're going to start with Dat Dump Truck Ass over on Patreon. He asked, do I have any good Larry Sweeney stories? He was a big inspiration for him in becoming a wrestler. Inspired a lot of his gear. So I worked quite a few shows with Sweeney. Always a great guy, very personable. I wasn't close with him by any stretch of the imagination, but I had always been thoroughly entertained by Sweeney's promos, even when I was still a fan. Very funny. Some very classic Tex Arcana championship promos that he would do. There was one in particular that I used to love that he did about, I think, that involved like a Dairy Queen sundae in a bathroom stall. He was always very hilarious. And unfortunately, two of my more distinct memories were a couple of the last times I saw Larry, where he didn't seem to be in the best headspace. And I'm trying to remember where this was. I want to say this in particular was maybe Pittsburgh for IWC. And I don't even remember if Larry was booked on the show. But I remember he was in the parking lot taking his shirt off, rambling about other tattoos that he wanted to get, and trying to get fans to chop him. It was really weird. And again, it just didn't seem like, from the interactions that I had with Larry, it didn't seem like Larry was in a good place. And the last time I saw Larry was at a Chikara show. And what I remember about this was it was like his big return to Chikara in the main event. And he was going to be a mystery partner for the Chikara team against the BDK, which I think at the time, I don't know if Claudio was still there, but BDK was like the big threat up against Chikara in their comic book fantasy world. If you've never followed Chikara, it was essentially like their NWO trying to invade and take over and kill Chikara. And Sweeney came out as a surprise, and I don't know if he hadn't wrestled in a while or what the deal was. He wasn't in great shape physically, and a lot of the stuff that he did in that match was not good. And I was watching the show from the stands with Gargano, and what I remember is the way it wasn't necessarily so the back was curtained off. But the curtain stopped at a certain point because you can't curtain off the bleachers, right? So I could still see, to the left, I could see the locker room. And to the right, sitting in the darkness, I could see going out to the crowd and what was happening in the ring pretty clearly. Because, again, I'm sitting on the bleachers because you can't curtain them off. And I don't know, what stands out to me was I knew it wasn't a good performance. I think the crowd knew it wasn't a good performance. And I remember seeing Larry walk back through the curtain because I'm watching both sides. And he gets back there and he just sits down and he looks dejected. And he's He kicked some stuff, and he was not happy. And I remember mentioning it to Gargano. I'm like, man, Sweeney, he looks sad. He looks fucking, Jesus, that's not good. Like, because no performer wants to make a return, or even if it's not a return, you just don't want to have a performance like that, especially if you really enjoy your craft and you take pride in what you do. It was always very clear that Larry took a lot of pride in everything that he did as a performer. I don't know the timetable between that last time I saw him and when he passed away, and I'm not going to go into the details of how he passed away. But obviously it was not good. And it's unfortunate because I think, and I'm sure a lot of other people would agree with this, if Larry Sweeney was still around, if he didn't end up in a company as some sort of manager or mouthpiece, I think he would be working behind the scenes right now, helping people with promos, being a producer of some sort. He did make one random appearance on WWE in a very memorable segment where Randy Orton was mocking Hulk Hogan's Hogan Knows Best show in the build-up to SummerSlam 2006, and he played Nick Hogan. There was something very special about Larry Sweeney, and it's unfortunate that he's gone. You know, mental health, we talk about a lot on the show. It wasn't talked about the way it is now, and I wish... You know, again, not being close with Larry, I wish he would have confided in people a little bit more, and maybe someone could have done something to help him. But then you never know because, you know, you see those graphics and pictures of people like Chester from Lincoln Park, like the day or the week that he passed, and he's very happy, and then he ends up taking his own life, right? So it's just unfortunate, and a big loss to the wrestling industry. But you know what? Every year, people are always talking about Larry. The people that knew him as well as they did, that were trained with him, traveled with him, Bryce Rensburg, Eddie Kingston, Claudio, all those guys. They're always talking about Larry, and that keeps his memory alive. So that's my memories of Larry Sweeney. Did you ever get the chance to interact with Larry at all?
I think we worked together on a couple shows, but maybe just greetings.
Yeah.
But, I don't. But I don't think I was in a good place at that time either. So
yeah. So hey, rest in peace, Larry Sweeney, and obviously that dump truck ass. He had an influence on you. He had influence on a lot of people. There was actually a time where, for a second, we were going to work together in Youngstown for Championship Wrestling Experience. I remember I was really, really fucking stoked, but for whatever reason, it fell through, and it never came to be. It was one of those. Wrestling I wish would have happened moments. I probably wouldn't have been I probably would have needed a few more years to be the person that I needed to be to give Larry my best, but I wish I could have at least said that I had that match under my belt. So hey, that's that question. Sorry for the rambling there, but again, if you are listening to this and you're having mental health issues, reach out to someone, the people close to you, and if you have no one close to you, send us a message. You know what I mean? Talk to someone. Seek help. It's all very, very important. Who else do we got from social media? Of course, we have good old Matt Swistack, who says, have you ever read the book The Puppy Who Lost His Way by Chrissy Taylor? And if so, do you agree with Billy that the boy didn't do enough to find his dog? I would say so. Listen, I would say The Puppy Who Lost His Way, that book is a lot like big industry, right? And, segue into a cut to 15 to 20 minutes into the future. And, you got to get out there. You got to find that fucking dog and, leave high football rules. Your thoughts, Aaron?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. Eric Phillips says, do you...
Hey, Chrissy Taylor, though. That's Ben Stiller's wife.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Maybe that was an inside reference. Eric Phillips says, do you finish Raw every week? I would say that, depending on my mood, I finish Raw. Just depends on how it's going. You, yeah. Aaron?
Oh, I don't finish.
Sounds about right.
Let that be a lesson to all you Potential.
Eric also asks, how will wrestling be affected by these tariffs on foreign objects? I feel like that was a pretty good one. I feel like it's probably going to really, I guess, matches will be a little bit fairer without the foreign objects involved. Or maybe
no more ladder matches.
Maybe they'll pay the tariff fee, but they'll just change them to international objects.
Oh, I like that.
So, Eric also said, how did you and Snackery come up with the names of the Brothers of Deconstruction? Shouldn't you guys be dressing up in construction gear, hard hats, vests, lunge pails? So we needed a name for our tag team, and so I just said, you know what? It's a funny promo. When Stone Cold Steve Austin went to destroy the DX Express, and he took off a little sticker that was over the construction gimmick that he had, and he said, this is Austin Deconstruction, because I never been good at building anything, but I'm pretty good at tearing shit up. And so I was like, yeah, let's just steal that, and because it sounds like Brothers of Destruction, but it's a deconstruction. But then when you really, I feel like I overanalyze things, and I'm more the talker than Zach, and I feel like, when necessary, when we're beating people down in our promos, we can really deconstruct the situation, analyze what they said about us, and then just kind of rip that apart. So that's kind of where it stems from the April of 2000 promo from Stone Cold Steve Austin Deconstruction. So no construction hats, but maybe we'll come out to a Men at Work song. I don't know.
I like deconstruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're constructing your dong.
Okay. Yeah, you like D, huh?
D what?
Let's see. Josh Newman said, did you all survive the night at the Bates Motel?
I don't get it.
Ruthless Pro Wrestling did get us a hotel, which is great. However, it was it was not a bad hotel, but I always get like a weird feeling when I'm booked in a motel as opposed to a hotel. You know the kind where the doors go right to the outside.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Those are not my favorite.
No.
But I like Ruthless Pro, and I like Chris, and it was fine. We got through it. The only scary thing was, one, I never heard this before. The lady gave us the key card. This is in Wisconsin, by the way, this past weekend. Lady gives me the key card and says, don't put this card by your phone or any electronic devices, or it will be deactivated, and we are unattended after 11 p.m., so if you need to get back in your room, you will not be able to. So I'm like holding this card like up in the air, opposite pocket of my phone when I have to carry it around with me, and I'm like, and now everybody else in the room is paranoid, and also, and this won't shock you, this happens 95% of the time when you're booked in a motel. Mm-hmm. The people next door were just playing the TV really, 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 really loud, like probably on full blast. Probably, I could guess for what reasons that could be. Maybe some drug stuff happening over there, potentially some...
maybe people, it was hard of hearing.
There's no way. They had it on full blast to where,
So you think that they put it on full blast so you couldn't smell their marijuana smoking?
I don't know what, maybe they're doing...
Pretty strong accusations to make with no facts to back it up.
Maybe some prostituting happening. I don't know. I don't know why exactly people do this, but it happens like in every motel I've ever been in. Luckily, I'm a deep sleeper, and I passed right out, but I'm sure they passed out too with whatever they were doing. But yeah, we survived, so that's what's important.
So quick to judge.
Dean Chard says, is the mic on? And thank you for the 13 years of support. No, thank you for 13 years of support. And the mic, I do believe, is on.
You and Dean Chard have known each other for 13 years?
Yeah, going all the way back to longer than that, actually. Dean, do your math, pal. 2011. That's like 14 years at this point. Maybe 13 and a half. Maybe I'm rounding up. But it might as well just be 14 at this point. Yeah, he was the first fan to ever start writing me from the UK. Yeah. Way back in the day.
I like how you criticized him, told him to go do his math, and then when you do the math, it's literally 13 years.
Shut up!
The answer.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Gosh.
Who else from Patreon here? Juan Ortiz. Who should play next year's halftime show And why is it Limp Bizkit? Listen, I would pop for Limp Bizkit. I think there's a segment of the worldwide audience that tweet about Hulk Hogan on Netflix. You know, I think there's a small segment out of the 11 billion people that made impressions while watching that show that would be like, you know what, I'm into Limp Bizkit. However, I don't know if realistically that could be a thing that...
I think it's because of the lyric. Like, everything sucks.
Am I making it up? Didn't Fred Durst show up for the Super Bowl a few years ago when they did the thing with Dr. Dre and all those guys? Did he make a cameo? Or did I imagine that?
I think you're thinking of Eminem.
Eminem
He's
was
a
definitely
different
there.
white guy.
Eminem was definitely there.
Different white guy that
Sorry.
is in music.
I always
so
get my
I know
honkies
that
confused.
you're always...
Like I call the hockey.
Yeah.
We're bringing that one back. Stupid cracker. Yeah, I don't think Limp Bizkit's gonna happen. You know, but however,
my vote is for Sarah McLachlan.
Well, yeah. Do you think she would remember you though?
No.
I think that if you haven't seen it, you should watch the Y2K film that came out if you want a good Limp Bizkit impression. Because that film did not get a lot of play in the theaters. I don't know what the streamings look like, but there are some great 1999 references in that film. And if you're a fan of Limp Bizkit, you will enjoy it. Also, I think it was an underrated, dark, scary comedy. So go check it out. It's made by the Kyle dude that was on SNL for a while. And fun times. So that's where you get your Limp Bizkit. Do you have any predictions for next year's halftime show as far as who will play?
Sarah McLachlan.
That's not a real prediction.
Why can't it be? She's still alive, makes music. I'll go with her, or maybe. You know how we had Dr. Dre before?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this time we have Dr. Dre and Ed Lover from Yo MTV Raps, and we do it all like a throwback.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. Could happen.
I think we should have Public Enemy.
That'd be cool. I know Jesse Ventura would like that. Wear that Public Enemy hat to the last Saturday Night's Main Event show. TJ over on Facebook says, "Who was your first kiss?" My cousin Sarah. So, and I was 18. So, that was my first kiss. Should I elaborate, or do you want to say your first kiss?
I don't think I want to know anymore. I think we've talked about this, though, before, haven't we?
She's like my third or fourth cousin, so I don't really think
it's like the third or fourth cousin you kissed.
No.
Open
Like
mouth.
in the chain of command family.
Oh, you guys do a daisy chain, huh?
What? No. Who was your first kiss?
Amy Mamir. Nope, that wasn't her name.
That's not. What did you stutter there?
Amy
Mamima?
Mamir was it?
Okay, all right.
I was 8th grade.
Okay.
She was 7th.
Mm.
It was raining.
Okay.
We went into this. It was like a little portal that you could stand in if it rained at school. Because it was after school. I used to stay after school because I was a latchkey kid. So I stayed there. My friend Jeremy Graves was with his girlfriend Holly, and I think they were doing a little kissing. And so I had just started to hang out with this Amy chick.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I think we're going to kiss. I got to try to remember how I saw it in Top Gun when Tom Cruise kissed Kelly McGillis.
Sure.
And it took each other's breath away.
Mm.
So I was like, man, I got to try to get this whole tongue thing right. And I remember just making out. And then afterwards, we got to kissing. And I looked at her and I went, yeah, well, Jimmy Hart.
What?
Yeah.
Why would you ruin it with that?
I had no idea. I was nervous. But it was something I used to say all the time because I loved the Heart Foundation.
So then she never talked to you again, right? That's what
No, I
happened.
got some more kisses somehow. I don't know how, but
She must have been desperate.
yeah, she was.
Eric Broder Van Dyke asked, do you use an AFO or any kind of brace? My daughter got a new one, but convincing her to use it is challenging. I did occasionally use a brace on my wrist when I was younger, but for the most part, I've never had to use a brace or anything like that, never had to have any surgeries for my CP. You know, as far as convincing your daughter to use her brace, You know, I don't know how old she is by the looks of the little footsies you sent me in the photo on Facebook. I'm guessing she's pretty young. And I would say, I don't know, like offer a little reward or something for wearing the brace, and just, you know, somehow you got to convince her that long term it's going to be beneficial for her. And again, I know I was a kid once and I didn't want to wear my brace for that time that I had to wear it and everything.
Dude, I would say show her Iron Mike Sharp, footage of him.
Oh, yeah.
And Cowboy Bob Orton.
Sure.
Guys that really rocked a brace or a cast when they needed to.
Yeah, but like guys that don't look like weird old men.
Oh. Lex Luger. He had that, I mean, it was a sleeve, but.
There's got to be like a cool girl that wears a brace somewhere.
Right.
She could be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she can bedazzle it or, you know, whatever they do these days.
Yeah, and if she's concerned about being made fun of, you know, fuck what other kids say. Like, it's stupid.
You can punch them with your brace.
Well, it's on her foot, so she would have to kick them.
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't make like a Ronnie Garvin or Greg Valentine reference.
Oh, because I was thinking arm the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's on her foot.
Okay. Well,
I said by her little footsies.
I didn't know what that meant. I thought that was a meme.
Goddamn kids and your memes. But yeah, hey, Eric, let me know how that goes. One more question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, I got one.
Turva Brent says, what has been your favorite match stipulation you were in? Which match stipulation do you think sound good when they are announced, but rarely come off as good as they sound like they would? Favorite match stipulation I've ever been in? I would have to say, I don't know. I always like being in match situations where as a fan, I never really thought that I would get to a situation where I'd be in a match like this, and B, I could use the elements for psychology purposes. And so that being said, I think doing the dog collar match was a real pleasure when I did that at Alpha 1. And being in a War Games match, having the two rings to utilize, being able to utilize the cage, and in the situation that I was in the first time around in GCW, all the weapons that were involved, it was a mad fun house, that was for sure. As far as match stipulations that sound good when they're announced but rarely come off as such, the first thing that comes to mind, I don't even know how good it sounds. Maybe it's just because like I know from witnessing it back in the 90s, but like anytime I've done a show where lethal lottery is the concept, it's never good.
If it's not worked.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, like...
Even if it is worked.
But even if it is worked, I feel like it's hard when, like, if you do one lethal lottery match or something, great. But usually, it's like a whole tournament. And it sucks because there's no way you can make a whole bunch of mismatched matches work. Not a whole show. You know what I mean? That's like that's no different than like when TNA did all steel cages at Lockdown. It's like you can only do so many cool things inside a steel cage until you get to fucking match 3, and they've already seen everything on the 8-match show with all the other cages. So it's like, I don't know. Lethal lottery I feel like is always a letdown. What about you? Do you have
going like a bull rope or a leather strap match
for a favorite stipulation?
No.
For worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so but
it's always a letdown because it's boring as shit most of the time, and sometimes depending on the company, sometimes you have to pin a guy, sometimes you have to hit the 4 corners, but it's always the same way.
Would you rather? I feel like you would rather have a pin than the 4 corners.
I grew up on 4 corners, so I like the 4 corners.
See,
but I think
that makes even less sense because I feel like you would hate the match with the 4 corner vibe because I mean then that's the whole psychology of the match. I don't think those are bad matches necessarily. Yeah. Because again, I like the psychology.
Russian chain match.
But see,
I mean, all depends. Dog collar, like Punk, and who do you have it with, MJF or something?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's good.
And he had a good strap match with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Which they did the 4 corners.
Right. What I'm saying is that with those guys, yeah, but, you know, what's the fucking one with PN News and Bobby Eaton?
Oh, the scaffold.
Scaffold match, yeah. That Tommy Dreamer was on that with Brian Lee. That sucked assholes.
I probably got to change my
What's that, Vic Grimes and New Jack?
You know what? Hold on. Let me... I don't know if I still have it. Let me see if I have this text message real quick because I'm going to... I know someone that was in a scaffold match and I made fun of him for it. Hold on. Okay, this is a real text message. I sent this on, let's see, when was this? Sometime in 2023. I randomly sent the text message of, if I ever create a time machine, I'm going to transport you back to Great American Bash 1991 so you can relive that scaffold match. To which the person responded, that person being Stone Cold Steve Austin, the single most overlooked match in the history of professional wrestling. That was a 5-star classic. Only people who don't know wrestling do not like that match. That was an all-timer. PN News stole the show. That guy is pure money, brother. And then he sent 3 stacks of money emojis. And then he said, that kind of money. Greenbacks. And I said, I still can't believe you got in the Hall of Fame before him. He said, it was a fluke. If he hadn't hugged Shawn Michaels in the Garden, he was locked for first ballot. Life can suck sometimes. And then, but so, he's you followed that up with Madison Square, not Olive, motherfucker. Okay, what a shitty dad joke. Yeah, so that was a real conversation I had with Stone Cold Steve Austin, because that match at Great American Bash 91 sucks ass. Any scaffold match sucks ass. When you think of a scaffold match, I think the only thing, if you're a wrestling historian, that you think of is Jim Cornette breaking his fucking ankles because Big Bubba couldn't catch him properly. So, yeah, that might be the worst match. And, you know, yeah, you mentioned the Vic Grimes thing, like, holy shit. I mean, that was, and we've heard the New Jack story. He was trying to kill him.
And Dreamer and Brian Lee.
Yeah, that
was whack too. And then to hear the story that they had Sandman drunk as hell connecting everything.
Yeah, that's awful. You know, like, I always knew Sandman wasn't great, and he's a horrible person, by the way. But as a performer, he wasn't great. Boy, I could really see it once I became a wrestler, because I remember like really enjoying, when I was a fan, the Guilty as Charged Stairway to Heaven match, or maybe it was just a ladder match at the final pay-per-view. It was like Sandman and like 2 other guys and like a 3-way, and it's fucking atrocious. I can't believe I thought that was a good match.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I want to say that a lot of Iron Man matches.
Nah, that's not true.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because I'm not into it until the last couple minutes.
No, Iron Man matches are fine.
I hated Shawn and Brett.
You're dumb. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest wrestling match of all time, like some people might put it on that pedestal. And there's other Shawn.
And there's you that's always like, oh, give me that Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
I've never said that, no.
Give me the Viagra on a pole match.
There are other Shawn Brett matches that I'd rather watch, but I have no problem with the Iron Man match. I think it was very nicely paced, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Though I will say the better Iron Man match would probably be Brock and Kurt Angle. I always enjoyed that one and the psychology of it. So there's that. Hey, I think that's it for that week. That's this week.
Oh, my favorite match stipulation, though.
What is it?
That I was involved in?
Yeah.
It was in the prison. And it was if my... the guy that I was managing, M-Dog, if he lost to the Shank, then all the prisoners got to get released for free and early release. That night, they were going to be let out of prison. Dude, we had some good heat for that. I know that they didn't think that it was like they were really going to get out.
Yeah.
But they didn't act like it.
Well, they wanted something to believe in, and I can't imagine they were having their best life experiences within the prison.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hey, that's it for this week. Appreciate all the questions once again. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Should have a video dropping this week about Ric Flair Woo Energy, the latest flavor. If you want to see that first and foremost, you got to be over on patreon.com/ironwrestling. You'll get early content there. You'll have some behind-the-scenes stuff from the Ric Flair Energy drink taste testing and a buttload of other material over on patreon.com/ironwrestling. We got stuff in the archives, hundreds and hundreds of episodes dating back to 2019 with some of your all-time favorite wrestlers being interviewed. Guys like Stone Cold that I just referenced, the Soul Taker. Yeah, people love the Soul Taker. Danhausen's in there.
Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer's in the archives. A buttload of people over there. But, you can listen to it, patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. And make sure you follow us on social media at Iron Wrestling. Follow me on social media. I am Gregory Iron on X. Gregory_Iron on Instagram. Facebook.com/The Handicapped Hero. You can DM me for pro wrestling motivational speaking and pro wrestling seminars if you would be so inclined to do so. And prowrestlingtees.com/Gregory Iron for out-of-print Gregory Iron shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron on Wrestling shirts. Find me on Cameo, where I can give you a shout-out of some sort. Valentine's Day is coming up, so perhaps maybe I can help you win over the one you love, or maybe I can help you break up with the one you love. I don't know. Just
grow a mullet.
Go to
That's
Cameo.
a sure way to get somebody to break up with you.
That's not. No, I'm just listen. Some people want to grow a mullet. That's fine. That's it for me. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
I'm on Blue Sky at Fair to Air, and on Instagram at Fair to Aaron. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the Dogs and Cats Society.
I'm sorry, who?
The Dogs and Cats Society.
Okay.
Meow.
All right.
Kitty wanna play?
No follow up on the Dog and Cat Society. You
That's
don't want
it.
people
Meow. Kitty wants to play.
Okay. All right. And that's
and you
it.
know who Kitty wants to play with?
Who's that?
My name is Manny Skate.
Why we don't have that as a sponsor anymore?
Yeah, but that's not the sponsor,
That's
man.
also a Razor Ramon impression. It's not Manny Scaped. That's it. Come back next week. Don't let Aaron scare you away.
Yeah, what a leprechaun!
No, that is Michael Myers doing an impression of the leprechaun.
Oh,
in
Michael
Wayne's World.
Myers?
Mike Myers. I'm sorry. Till next week. Kiss goodbye.